Have you ever heard of 300 men who stood against an empire? Men who chose death over surrender and changed the course of history? Their story begins long before the battle, with a single act of defiance that enraged a king. 2,500 years ago, the Persian Empire was unstoppable. A sea of soldiers, stretching from the deserts of Egypt to the mountains of India, ruled by one man, Darius the Great. To defy him was to invite destruction. But across the sea, in a land of mountains and proud city-states, lived people who refused to kneel, the Greeks. When Athens helped rebels rise against Persia, Darius took it as a personal insult. He swore to make the Greeks pay for their arrogance. An army was sent to crush them, to remind the world who ruled it. But on the plains of Marathon, fate shifted. A tiny Greek force, outnumbered and outmatched, defeated the greatest army on earth. The impossible had happened. The King of Kings had been humiliated. Darius vowed to return, not just to win, but to erase Greece itself. Yet before his vengeance could begin, death claimed him, and in his place rose his son, Xerxes, younger, colder, and burning with the same fury. He would not only avenge his father, he would raise an army so vast that the earth would tremble beneath its feet. And at the edge of that army's path lay a narrow mountain pass called Thermopylae, where destiny waited, and where 300 Spartans would stand against a god king. The year is 480 BC. The Persians are coming. Across the Hellespont, bridges of boats carry an army so vast it seems endless. Men from every corner of the empire. Persians, Egyptians, Medes, Babylonians. Hundreds of thousands marching west, led by the god king Xerxes himself. Their goal is simple: to burn Greece to the ground. And as the news spreads, fear grips the Greek world. Some city-states prepare to surrender. Others argue, divided by pride and politics. But one man does not hesitate: Leonidas, king of Sparta. He knows they cannot stop Xerxes in open battle, so he chooses a place where numbers mean nothing, a narrow mountain pass by the sea called Thermopylae, the Hot Gates. But there's a problem. Spartan law forbids the army from marching. It's the time of a sacred festival. The council debates, the priests warn of omens, but Leonidas has no time for delay. So he chooses 300 of his best men, each one a father, each one chosen because he already has a son to carry his name. They march not to win, but to buy time, to hold the line long enough for Greece to unite. 300 against hundreds of thousands. It's not a battle plan, it's a death sentence. And they all know it. But to Leonidas, this isn't madness, it's duty. He tells his men, "Eat well, for tonight we dine in Hades." And as they march north through towns trembling with fear, the people look at them and see not soldiers, but legends. No one knows it yet, but these 300 are about to carve their names into eternity. A narrow road, trapped between towering cliffs and the endless sea. For centuries, it had been nothing more than a passage for travelers and traders. But now, it would become the stage for one of the greatest last stands in history. Leonidas and his 300 Spartans take their position, joined by a few thousand Greek allies. Not an army, just men willing to die buying time for freedom. They reinforce the ancient wall, sharpening their spears and polishing their bronze shields. They know the storm that's coming. And that storm has a name: Xerxes, the god king of Persia, ruler of nations, and master of an empire that stretched from Egypt to India. For years he had prepared this invasion, building bridges across the sea, cutting through mountains, gathering an army the world had never seen. Historians would later say his forces numbered in the hundreds of thousands, perhaps more. The ground trembled beneath their march. The sea itself seemed to bow before their ships. When the Persians finally reach Thermopylae, they expect fear. But instead, they see Spartans, calm, fearless, combing their long hair and laughing among themselves. They're not waiting for rescue. They're waiting for death. Xerxes cannot believe it. He sends a messenger demanding that Leonidas lay down his weapons. Leonidas replies with 2 words that echo through time. Come and take them. And so, the God King commands the attack. The battle begins. Wave after wave of Persian soldiers rush the pass. Medes, Scythians, warriors from every corner of the empire. But the pass is too narrow. Only a few can fight at once, and every man who steps forward meets a Spartan spear. The Greeks fight in perfect rhythm, shields locked, spears thrusting, discipline unbreakable. Their bronze armor gleams in the sunlight, and each push sends the Persians tumbling back into the sea of their own dead. Hours pass. The Persians keep coming, but the line does not break. Xerxes sends in his elite guard, the Immortals. 10,000 of his finest soldiers, trained to perfection. Yet even they cannot pierce the Greek defense. Their name, Immortals, becomes a cruel joke, because at Thermopylae, they die like everyone else. For 2 days, the fighting rages. The Persians attack from dawn till dusk, and every time they are thrown back. Their arrows darken the sky, and a Spartan laughs. Good. Then we'll fight in the shade. Xerxes grows furious. He cannot understand how so few men can defy his entire empire. His generals whisper of magic, of gods protecting the Greeks. But Leonidas knows the truth. It's not magic. It's discipline. It's unity. It's the will to stand when every instinct says to run. By nightfall of the 2nd day, the pass is littered with bodies. The stench of death fills the air, and still the Spartans stand, unmoved. Their armor cracked, their hands bloodied, but their line unbroken. Yet, far away in the darkness, something moves. A man. A Greek. Ephialtes, a name that will forever be cursed. He approaches the Persian camp with a secret, a hidden path through the mountains that leads behind the Spartan position. He offers it to Xerxes in exchange for gold and glory. The God King listens, and he smiles. As night falls over Thermopylae, the fate of 300 heroes is sealed. They just don't know it yet. After 2 days of brutal fighting, silence finally settles across the pass. The Spartans rest by dying fires, their armor dented, their bodies bloodied, but their spirit unbroken. They have defied the might of Persia. The God King has found his key. Before dawn, thousands of Persian soldiers follow Ephialtes into the mountains. Their torches flicker like fireflies as they climb through the darkness, unseen by the Greeks below. By morning, the trap is set. At the front, Leonidas receives the news. The Persians have found a way around them. His men are surrounded. He doesn't rage, doesn't curse. He simply nods. He knew this day would come. The council of commanders gathers. Some urge retreat, but Leonidas refuses. If they flee, the Persians will crush the retreating army and march straight into Greece. If they stay, they can hold the pass a little longer and become the wall that buys Greece time. He orders the allied troops to withdraw. Only his 300 Spartans and a few hundred Thespians remain. They know what it means, and they choose to stay. Leonidas turns to his men and says quietly, "Eat well, for tonight we dine in Hades." There's no fear, only calm resolve. The Spartans polish their shields, tighten their armor, and prepare to face death as warriors, not victims. As dawn breaks over the cliffs, the Persians close in from both sides. The hot gates, once a wall of bronze, has become a tomb. But if this is their end, they will make it eternal. 300 men, surrounded, unbroken, ready to die for freedom. Dawn breaks over Thermopylae, the final dawn the Spartans will ever see. The mountain air is heavy with smoke and the stench of death. The Persians close in from both sides, their war cries echoing through the cliffs. Leonidas stands at the front, spear in hand, eyes fixed on the horizon. He knows this is the end, but not the end of their story. The first wave hits like thunder. The Spartans meet them head-on, shields locked, spears striking with brutal precision. They fight not to survive, but to take as many enemies as they can with them. The Persians fall by the hundreds, then by the thousands, but the Spartans are growing weary. Their spears shatter, their shields splinter. Still, they fight on, switching to swords, then to their bare hands. Every inch of ground is paid for in blood. In the chaos, Leonidas moves like a force of nature, silent, focused, unbreakable. He cuts down enemy after enemy until his weapon breaks, then continues with what remains. But no man, not even a Spartan king, can fight forever. A Persian arrow finds its mark. Leonidas falls. The fighting pauses. For a heartbeat, even the Persians seem to stop. Around his body, the Spartans form a circle, fighting desperately to protect their fallen king. They will not leave him. They will not surrender. And as the sun climbs higher, the last of them are cut down where they stand. When it is over, Xerxes walks the battlefield, staring at the carnage. The greatest army on earth has taken 3 days to destroy just a few hundred men. Victory tastes hollow. The bodies of Leonidas and his soldiers lie where they fell, but their defiance spreads like wildfire. Word of their stand echoes across Greece, igniting a flame that will not die. Within a year, united Greek forces will crush Persia at Salamis and Plataea. The Spartans were defeated, but their courage defeated fear itself. They proved that freedom has a price, and some men are willing to pay it with their lives. 300 stood against an empire and became immortal. When the battle ended, silence fell over Thermopylae. The pass was littered with the bodies of heroes and conquerors alike. The Persians had won, but victory had never felt so hollow. For 3 days, 300 men had defied the might of an empire. They were gone, but their courage spread like wildfire across Greece. Word of their stand reached every city, of Spartans who refused to bow, of a king who chose death over surrender, and of men who proved that freedom is worth any price. That story changed everything. The quarrels between Greek city-states began to fade. For the first time, they stood together, not as rivals, but as one people, united by sacrifice. Subscribe to this channel for more stories like this.